All right. So, oh shit, there we go. So I have a friend who asked me to help him out with the wording and feature of a custom warlock archetype that he wanted to create. And I'm just going to go through really quick and show how um, how I would go about fixing the wording for everything that he wants. So up here is what he sent me, and then we're just going to create some space, a divider. Down here is where I will create the different version of it, or my quote unquote fixed wording. And it's not going to be perfect fixed wording. It's just going to be the big glaring stuff that I see. Um, so first, let's just head over to Warlock real quick to look at first level abilities. So, and these usually have starting at first level or at first level. And what I've recently learned is when you have your starting sentence for this beginning or for the beginning of the ability is just at this level you X, you're going to want to use at first level. So if you're going to write um, at first level, you learn the light and sacred flame cantrips. You're going to want to use at first level. Where if we look at Radiant Soul, um, starting at sixth level, then you add in flavor text for the lore of the class. So if you want to run like a real tight, um, it's not a perfect thing because Healing Light also does the at first level thing. It's kind of inconsistent, but that's the most consistent I've seen. There's never I don't think I've ever seen a starting at or beginning at um, X level and you just straight out do X. It's always been starting at X level, um, you lore dump. Um, so we're going to go, since it's a oh, I guess that's wrong. I was wrong about that. So really, just use whatever language you want, uh, but just make sure that you specify the level that it happens at. So all of the first level stuff, yeah, seems pretty hit or miss there. So let's read his ability, his first level ability. Center of the universe. For 1 minute, create 3 stars made of pure starfire that circle around in a 5 foot circle. The stars provide bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. These stars deal 1d4 radiant damage per star circling you. You may, as a bonus action, expend one of these stars to make a ranged spell attack against a target within 60 feet of you. The star deals 1d4 plus your charisma modifier radiant damage on a successful hit. There's a lot of good stuff in here already. Um, the damage calculation, um, the you may, as a bonus action, use one of the stars to do the thing. All of that. This right here looks really great. Um, that conforms to the normal language um, that abilities have. These stars deal 1d4 radiant damage per star circling you. I had to ask him if this was supposed to be a damage shield or a area of effect spell, and he specified that it was supposed to be an area of effect spell. So this is going to be um, the primary place that we're going to be switching up the language for. And then the stars provide bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. That's perfect. That's super fine. Conforms to all of the normal language for 5th edition. And for 1 minute, create 3 stars made out of pure starfire that circle around in a 5-foot circle. This does need touched up, primarily in that we have no action cost. Doesn't specify what we have to do to create those three stars, and the circle isn't super obvious in what it does. So for this and this, I feel like those two sentences need to go together, and we're going to look at an area of effect spell similar to this. Has a similar area effect damage kind of thing going on. So just center of the universe. Normally we would bold this, but Notepad has no bolding feature. Starting at first level, as an action, you summon 3 stars. Well, we want to keep the pure starfire flavor, but what is important to the rest of this spell is the keyword of stars. So we don't want to muck up pure starfire and the keyword of stars here to keep it legible. So at first level, your patron teaches you how to summon pure star fire. Next sentence, as an action, you create 3 stars that, and now is when we're going to go to the find an AoE spell. The spell I'm thinking of right now is, I believe, a 2nd level cleric spell. Let's just take a look real quick. And I can't remember the name of it at the moment. Guardian Spirits. I'm looking for Guardian Spirits. So it might be first or I think it's 2nd or 3rd. Nope, not there. And 3rd. Huh. Well, let's just Guardian Spirits. Okay. Guardian. Spirit Guardians. Okay. Alright, so you call forth spirits to protect you. They flit around you to a distance of 15 feet for the duration. If you are good or neutral, they do lore type stuff. They do fluff stuff. When you cast the spell, you can designate any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected by it, and unaffected creature speed is halved, or an affected creature speed is halved in the area. When the creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d8 radiant damage if you're good or neutral, or 3d8 necrotic if you are evil. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage. And then at higher levels, not something we'll be dealing with. So oh yeah, and that was a 3rd level spell. I just missed it when I was looking through the spells. Alright, so what we want to take away from this is here is the first part is telling you that you can do the thing, and the second part of this ability is going to tell you what the thing does. And I believe this is something that we're going to want to keep. Otherwise, it could get pretty hairy, and this ability doesn't seem to scale up very well into the future. But is very powerful at level 1. So let's pop this open. Create 3 stars that circle around you to a distance of 5, not 45 feet. Huh, that's interesting. There's also a duration for this that is not stated in his ability. Oh, for 1 minute. Okay. For 1 minute. Okay. That's the end of the first part of the ability. Let me go down. The stars provide bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. And then we'll want to go where we don't have that there, but for the first time on a turn, okay, so when a creature enters for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a wisdom saving throw. So I got ahead of myself. What we want to do first, that was weird. Didn't want to cooperate. So that we want to come back here and say, when you activate or use this ability, you can designate any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected. Okay, and now that we've designated what unaffected is, the Spirit Guardians tells us what an affected creature does. So let me just pull this up here real quick. When an affected creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a... This is probably a dexterity saving throw, I would guess. I could also see it being a constitution saving throw, but we'll just go with dexterity, as that's kind of the catch-all. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d or takes 1d4 radiant damage per star circling you. Really quick, we will want to check out an ability that causes someone to take a difficulty check or a saving throw that is not tied to your spell casting saving throw. Which I think Fighter might have one under Battle Master. Or that so this is part of the process of taking an idea, putting it onto paper, and then making it fit with the game. What we're trying to just do is make sure where we insert the fact that it calls for a difficulty check or a saving throw, we get the wording correctly. I mean, all of these kind of do this up here. So what we might want to do might be add it here. If a creature must make a saving throw against this ability, the save DC equals your spell casting DC. Let's see, is that spell save DC? Then I just want to double check that is a correct wording. And anyone with spell casting should be able to spell save DC. Okay, that is the correct terminology. Spell save DC. Okay. Alright, and then back to down here. When you use this ability, you can designate any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected. The stars provide bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. When an affected creature, I think what we should do is actually move this right here. So we deal with unaffected and affected creatures all up front. And then we get to the second part, which is individual stars. So the stars provide bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. And then back up here, you may, as a bonus action, do this. And since the wording is fine, expend one of these stars to make a ranged spell attack against a target within 60 feet of you. If it weren't for the fact that it's a bonus action, I would say don't even make it a spell attack and just let it deal 1d4 plus charisma radiant damage. But because it's a bonus action, I think it's a good idea to keep it in as a spell attack. Otherwise, it might become a little too powerful. But this is already a very powerful first level ability, especially if you aren't afraid of actually getting out into the range that this is effective at. And distance of 5 feet. Creature must make a saving throw against this ability. The save DC equals your spell save DC. We're good. We're good. Okay, so I think this is fairly good. He had a lot of already great terminology that fit everything and had good wording. He just needed to condense, group, and reword to an existing ability, or similar to an existing ability, the terminology of the effect he wanted. Everything else, the light radius, the single target attack, all of that's good. The one thing I would say is after bonus action, I think you might want a comma there. Because the text in how they write things tends to have a at the beginning of an ability's cost after you state the cost. In this case, um, which is a bonus action, then you state the effect. Which in our case we have the cost you may as a bonus action, and then effect, use up a star, make a ranged spell attack against a target, and that target has to be within 60 feet of you. So I think everything else here is great, and I honestly can't wait to see what other abilities he has for this, because it frankly looks like it's got a really cool base. Um, I have played a warlock that worships, or whose patron was Hadar from 4th edition, and I have yet to find a really good um, patron archetype to use for him, and this looks like it might be really great for it. So thanks very much for watching.